Hi everybody, it's Annette. This video is all about my trip to Universal Studios Florida. I recently went just this last week of June for an entire week, and this is everything that I have to say about my experience there. So I booked everything through their website. I just found that it was easier to do it that way, so I paid for the flight and the hotel and park tickets all in one group package. I ended up staying at the Sapphire Falls Resort, which is on the property. I tried to do research about the places to stay, and I figured that it would be easiest to stay on the property just because it would be less transportation to and from the parks. I did get there before check-in, but my room was ready, so I was able to go right into my room, which looked 100% like it looked online, and there were basically no surprises. Like, everything I had read about it and the other YouTube videos I had watched about the hotel, everything was exactly the same as I anticipated it to be, so that was really, really good. One of the downsides is that due to COVID, they're not cleaning rooms still, so my room wasn't being able to be cleaned for a full week, which is a little bit gross. I did ask for the trash to get picked up one time, maybe about 3 days in, and I didn't ask for it again because I didn't want to be like annoying, but I really needed the trash to be gone like every day, but that wasn't happening, so I was just trying my best to like keep it by the door and to like keep it packaged up, but that was pretty annoying. The other thing is most of the rooms are identical, so they have 2 queen beds and then like a shower and a toilet with a door and then like the sink outside. So not having a tub was a little bit annoying because we were doing a lot of walking and spending a lot of time in the heat, and it would have been nice to take a bath, but that was not an option. Some rooms have baths, but we weren't able to get one. Also, some rooms have queen beds and some rooms are suites, but most, I think like 70% of the rooms, like my room with the 2 beds and just the shower bath, so it was really difficult to get any of the other rooms. There weren't any available anywhere within the time that I was trying to go, so I just ended up with the standard room, which was a little bit annoying because I would have preferred like a suite, but I didn't get that. There was a store downstairs, like outside of the lobby, that had like quick food, they had hot food, they had ice cream, they had like Starbucks coffee, and basically it was like a lifesaver because like we couldn't go anywhere, but it's also really, really expensive. So I knew there would be like some markup on stuff just because it's a hotel and they can. I wasn't expecting things to be so expensive. So like a bottle of water, maybe like a 16-ounce bottle of water was $5, which is really, I don't know, $3.50 more than I think it cost anywhere else. So that was pretty hard to swallow once we realized that that was going to be the only way to get stuff. I did try to order some stuff, but I guess I didn't order enough stuff, so my delivery was canceled, or maybe the delivery driver just didn't want to come to the hotel. Understandable. It kind of meant that we were forced to buy really expensive stuff at this store, or we just kind of had to go without and be like thirsty. So there was ice on our floor, but there's no water, and we had maybe like 5 paper cups came with the room, but that was it. There was not anything else that was free. They had a little bit of tea, like 1 tea and like 3 different coffees and a Keurig. Again, no one was coming to replenish the stuff, so I drank a tea one time, but after that I was just like, forget it, it's not worth it, I don't really want these things. So we just ended up buying a bunch of stuff from the store. The food that they had in the store was pretty good. It was just so expensive that I didn't want to pay for it. There are 2 restaurants in the hotel, one upstairs and one downstairs. The one upstairs was just like a dinner restaurant and it wasn't open every day, and the one downstairs did like full day, and it looked a little more upscale. They both, I think, required reservations. It was too much for me. I wasn't particularly interested in those stuff, so I didn't spend any time in there. I didn't really see a whole lot of people in there either. I saw, like, if we were getting up really early, there were like really long lines in like the little store, but not, I didn't see people like waiting to go in the restaurant. The hotel we stayed at did have a really nice pool. It was really big and it had like a sandbar area, I guess. It was just really big. It wasn't very deep. It was fine. I think maybe the deepest it was 4.5 feet. I would probably preferred it to be maybe like 5.5 feet, so you could really feel like submerged without like fully squatting down. So we did really like the pool. It was fun. People mostly left us alone. Like, we saw weird people at the pool because other people are weird, but no one bothered us. The pool was really clean. That was the best pool I think I've been to, like the most fun I've had in the pool. It was closed occasionally, but then it would like open right back up, and it was fine. I didn't order any food out by the pool, but I definitely saw people like walking around taking orders and bringing drinks and stuff. So if you wanted to do that, you could do it. I just wasn't interested in it because I knew it was going to be expensive. Lastly, the Sapphire Falls Hotel is really big. I think it has maybe 1,000 rooms, which meant that our hotel room was really, really far from like where we were coming from. So from like the lobby, we would have to walk all the way through the lobby, get on one set of elevators and go up, and then walk down 2 different hallways. And if we came from outside, from like either where the shuttle bus dropped off or the boat dropped off, we had to go up 2 different elevators or a big flight of stairs, and then do the same thing through the lobby, up the elevator. It was really, really far. So it made it kind of difficult to want to plan stuff out. Like, you can't just, well, you need to plan stuff out because you can't just up and leave. Like, oh, I forgot something, or I'm gonna run downstairs really quick because it was too far. Like, I really think it was probably like 1/3 of a mile. It's just like one way to the room, and that's just really far, especially if you've been walking all day or traveling all day. And our hotel did have on-site laundry. I did have to ask where it was because it was on the first floor of the building, and it was pretty easy to use once we figured it out, but it did have like some weird detergent that didn't work the best. But I was glad I was able to wash about 5 days worth of stuff, just so we didn't take a bunch of dirty stuff home. So that was really helpful, and I think we only paid $7 to wash and dry a load, and I think that's pretty cheap, and it didn't take too long or anything. So that was good. Overall, the hotel was fine. I checked out on my phone, and I didn't charge anything to my room. They only put like a 1-cent hold on my card, and I immediately got my 1 cent back. So I didn't have any issues with them. That's it for like my thoughts and stuff on the hotel. Next, I'm gonna talk about the dining experience that I had. Like I said, at the hotel, everything required reservations. Same thing for all of the restaurants at City Walk. You need reservations, otherwise you're gonna look really sad and you're just gonna be sitting outside of a restaurant, or you're gonna be turned away. So I knew that before going, so I didn't even bother trying to walk up to any restaurants to just try to sit down. So if you don't have reservations, you're gonna be stuck eating like Moe's or Burger King or Panda Express, or there was a sandwich place, or like Cinnabon or something fast, but that's also probably gonna have a line. So we only went to 2 places while we were there. We had made reservations for 4 places, but we decided to cancel. We made reservations at Antojitos. We didn't go there. I think we were just kind of tired, so we didn't go. And we made reservations at Big Fire, but After reading the reviews, I was concerned that we weren't gonna like the food. It looked like it was more like meat oriented, like here's this piece of meat we have grilled, and we didn't season it. So I didn't want to pay, you know, probably $100 and hate it. So the only places we ate, sit down ate at, were Margaritaville and the NBC restaurant. So Margaritaville was fine. Our server was really nice. I had never been to Margaritaville before. It's so cheesy and silly. They have a volcano that erupts. You can watch all these performances on the TVs. There's planes, and it was just fine and fun. Like, the margaritas were fine. The food was pretty good. It was a lot of food. Like, I got so much food I couldn't eat it. And we decided before we went on this trip that we were probably just gonna waste food while we were there, because we weren't gonna try to drag leftovers around. Even though it's something that we would do at home, it's not worth it to do, and there was no microwave in our hotel room, so what was I gonna really do with the leftovers? The NBC restaurant was mostly underwhelming. Our server told us like they're known for their hamburgers and their boneless wings, which I found super random because boneless wings are not something people are known for. I think she was just trying to steer us away from other stuff. So I ordered like a pasta dish, which was okay. Like, the pasta was pretty much the worst part of it. The chicken was good and the sun-dried tomatoes were good. But the pasta, like the sauce was kind of weird. And I probably ate half of it. And my husband got a Japanese inspired dish. I guess they have a lot of dishes that were inspired by the Olympics. And it was called karipan. And I guess it's supposed to be like curried meat, grilled cheese. So I'll go ahead and put a picture of it here. The picture of what we thought he was getting online looked really good. What we got in person was not it. Like, I wasn't sure if that was what he ordered because I was confused. And I think our server was like a little sad that we didn't want like to-go boxes and we didn't finish anything, but I just didn't like it. We also had calamari and spinach dip. They were fine. The appetizers, most places are really good, but entrees, like if you're not getting a hamburger or something, they're not super good at that. They had a whole bunch of TVs, but it wasn't like anything spectacular. So it was fine, but Margaritaville was better. I didn't spend too much time eating in the parks. I did eat a full meal at Volcano Bay, and I don't think I ate any real substantial food at Universal or Islands of Adventure. It was just so hot, it's hard to eat. But the other days, when we didn't eat at a restaurant, some days we had like some other food from City Walk, and 2 different days I ordered Uber Eats, which would just drop off at the hotel lobby. So overall, I did have like a difficult time eating. I probably ate pretty bad. I was trying to at least have a vegetable every day. Some days I like would buy like a smoothie or something. Every time I went out to eat, I was trying to order water because, like I said before, I was struggling to have water at my hotel room and stuff. But food was okay, but I didn't feel super hungry really at all, just because I was so mostly exhausted and hot from trying to like do stuff all the time. So I feel like if I was going for like a food trip, that probably wouldn't be the place to go. We were just kind of like eating to survive. Okay, next I want to talk about the parks. So also, this was not like we're gonna have like a thrill-seeking trip. I do not like roller coasters. I do not like being afraid. So I already knew that I wasn't gonna get on stuff. So before I went, I looked up every single ride that they have and I wrote them all in my phone. So when we like encountered them, I could have notes on what I was gonna go on and what I wasn't gonna go on. So I know not to go to theme parks with people who I don't know well and who don't respect like my decisions not to go on stuff. My husband is very cool with that. He doesn't he doesn't like roller coasters too much either. We didn't get on a whole lot of stuff, but luckily Universal has a lot of like 3D, 4D rides. There is stuff to go on if you don't want to get on roller coasters. So of the rides we went on, I went on the Simpsons ride. That was really fun. It was just a little bit weird that they have like a holding area where you wait before you get on the ride, which was awkward because we were just in there with some strangers and we were just all watching a TV. So that was weird, but the ride was really fun. And the whole like Krusty Land area is really fun. The Transformers ride was the first one that we went on. We got on it really early in the day, so there really wasn't a wait. It looks like there's like a story, maybe not too much of a story in the line, but I missed most of that because we really didn't wait in the line. We kind of just walked through the whole thing and got immediately on the ride. I didn't like that one was super dark, and it was like all the rides kind of had the same theme where we're in danger, we're gonna die, and the characters have to like save us. So this one was a little bit too real because it was kind of dark, and I don't think I really knew what to expect, so I was a little bit scared. But it was fine. I wouldn't go on it again, nor would I wait like more than 20 minutes to get on it if I was gonna get on it again. I got on the ET ride. I like this one. I was a little nervous because when you first get on it, it immediately goes up, and I was like, oh no, because I don't like heights. But it was fine. It was just nostalgia for me because I remember watching ET as a kid. Now, did ET scare me as a kid? Yes. Was I not scared now? Some of the creatures are a little bit scary, but I thought it was fun. But you could tell it was like really old, but I kind of liked that about it because all of the other rides were so, well, no. I liked that it was old. I didn't mind it at all. I would definitely get on that ride again, and we didn't have a wait at all for that ride. There's also a Shrek ride, which is more like a Shrek theater 3D movie. So that one had a really long wait, but I thought it would be like fun. Like I like Shrek, so we waited for maybe like 30-40 minutes. And like you immediately get taken into like a room where basically they just recap the whole first Shrek movie while you just stand there, which is really hard because I've already been standing. The only good thing about being standing in the line is you can lean. Standing in the room, I couldn't lean on anything because there's nothing to lean on. And then you sit in go in the theater and you sit in the seats, and it turns into another 3D movie. I have no idea what the story was. And all of those rides have so much water that gets shot out the back of the seat, and that one had so much. It was just pointless, like, oh, here's some more water, here's some more water. And I was just like, oh, this is annoying. And I didn't think my seats moved very much, so I was just kind of like trying to make it move, and I was like picking my feet up to try to see if the seats would move more so I could like, get more of the experience, but it was pretty lackluster. I wouldn't wait on that one at all or go on it again. We also went on the Fast and Furious ride, also pretty early in the day. I think we got on that one right after we got on the Transformers ride, so pretty much no one was there. And there was no line. It's pretty cool. It looks like inside like a whole garage, all sorts of car parts and stuff, and we couldn't look at it very long because we were like moving through. So the inside, they had like two like Universal workers who were playing characters in this universe, and they were honestly the best part of the ride. The ride is so boring and like really short. It's just a short car chase, and like you go fast for a second and then it's kind of over and it just ends. It was very weird. It definitely needs some updating. It's definitely older because I know the Fast and Furious franchise is pretty old, but they keep coming out with new movies, so I know they have the money if they wanted to like revamp it. It looks like they update like the video. There's some video portions where like some of the actors are talking, and I can tell those are a little updated because they look older, but some of the stuff in the ride just makes no sense. So I wouldn't ride that one again because it was boring. We also got on the Jimmy Fallon ride, which I had no idea what to expect because I couldn't figure it out from like reading about it or watching videos. I had no idea what was gonna happen. So you're just like in a mock NBC studio like the whole time, and it's super just odd because it's just like, what are we doing? And I didn't particularly like the outside. Like you have to wait in these colored groups, and then you have to like stand in another line while they like tell you like all the rules and stuff. But once you get on the ride, it's really fun. Like it was the most realistic of like the virtual rides to me. I really felt like I was going to the moon. I felt like I was underwater. I felt like I was riding through the streets of New York. It makes no sense. Like none of that has anything to do with the Tonight Show. Other than the Hogwarts Express, it's the only other ride we got on twice. So I really liked it. My husband got kind of queasy. I guess, you know, flying to the moon really just threw him for a loop. I don't know why. We're obviously not going to the moon, but it just, I guess, was too real for him. But that was the fun part about it. That one was really good at making it feel really, really real because they had like a lot of wind and stuff. And I don't really remember. I know the seats are moving, but I don't think I think they're barely moving. But like the tech in it was so good that the barely moving movements made it feel like we're really flying. I really like that ride. I recommend it. The only problem is that you have to do all of the background stuff, like the before. I have to sit through the safety rules again, and I don't want to sit through the safety rules every time. So that was just a little bit annoying. The last ride that we got on at Universal was the Hogwarts Express leaving from King's Cross Station. It is pretty cool just because it looks so real. The only problem is that there are a bunch of other people there that kind of ruin your experience because they just look like they're from here. So that was part of my issue with it. The other issue is that it seemed like I went on the Hogwarts Express 3 times, and it seemed like the other people had been on the ride before and I've never been. So they're just like, blah, hate this, it's boring, I'm just on this so I can get to the other park. And one time somebody was just like kind of in the way of the screen, so I couldn't really see. But you don't really get to experience it because you have to sit in there with other people. I get it. It's busy, they have room. I can't just sit by myself just because I want to. It's just hard to like really look at everything because you want to like look up because it's stuff everywhere. It's stuff on the screen on one side, it's stuff on the screen on the other side. So you're just kind of like really close to strangers, which is pretty difficult because it's just awkward. So there were less rides that I wanted to get on at Islands of Adventure just because Islands of Adventure to me is more like a traditional theme park. Universal Studios was more of like an experience. Islands of Adventure seemed to have like more adult rides, like thrill rides. I'm not getting on those. So I had wrote down that I was willing to get on the Popeyes water ride. We did not get on it because we went over there. We went and stood over to watch the people coming off the Popeyes ride, and they were so wet, like soaking wet, like they had been swimming in the pool with all of their clothes on. I did not want to do that because by the time we got over there, it was probably like 11 or 12. It was really early in the day. We would have been wet for hours. It was not worth it. We did get on the Spider-Man ride. It had a pretty long line, maybe like 45 minutes or something. The line outside was really loud. Like the story that they're telling is like news reports or something. They're just really, really loud. So I didn't like that, but once we got inside, it was fine. There was like a fake newsroom that was really cute, and there was another part with just like a really old Spider-Man cartoon on the TV, and I like that just because I hadn't seen that sort of cartoon in so long. But the ride was fine. Thank God Spider-Man saved us in the end. I've written down that I would get on Skull Island, but every time we went near it, it had like 55-minute waits or longer. and everyone said like don't wait for it, it's not worth it. So we missed out on that one, and I'm not mad about it because I don't want to wait an hour to be underwhelmed. My favorite ride at Islands of Adventure was the Seuss trolley train ride. I just liked it. I know it's for babies, I don't care. The whole Seuss area is so cute to look at, and the trolley ride takes you around the whole Seuss area and you can see everything. So while I am scared of heights, I only got scared one time because the side I was sitting on was really close to the water when we kind of like went around over the water, and I was like, oh, a little too close to the water. But other than that, it was really fun. And then I wanted to get on it again, but it had a really long wait because the first time I got on it was really early in the morning, like before around like 8:39, and the second time I went back was probably like 10, and by then it had too long of a wait, and I wasn't gonna wait to just like ride a ride I had already ridden before. So I was sad about that, but I still liked it the first time. And then we rode the Hogwarts Express back to King's Cross from Hogsmeade. And that area has like, you can see Hogwarts, like that's super cool and stuff. But it's way busier over there than it is in like King's Cross Station. I don't know if it's because the entrance to Diagon Alley is hidden, so I don't know if maybe a lot of people missed it, but it was a lot less people over there. We did end up getting butterbeer twice, like frozen butterbeer. The third time there was no frozen butterbeer, so we were sad. But riding the train back to London, pretty much the same experience. The only issue is that line to get to the train is so much longer. It's like windy and ramps and outside, and both stations have stairs and stuff. There's an elevator if you want to take the elevator, but there seems to always be like a line waiting for the elevator, so you just take the stairs and just be winded. That's all. I probably wouldn't necessarily go on those again. Like I said, I would. I said like after our first time going on it that I wasn't gonna go on them again, but then I ended up going on it again, so I didn't have to walk all the way across back to the other park. It was easier to just get on the ride and go. But once you've done them and seen the stories on both sides, you kind of don't need to go back. Okay, the last park is Volcano Bay. I know it is a whole lot newer than the other two parks, so it's kind of like an afterthought and not the same direction as the other parks. It was very close to our hotel. We probably could have walked, but we got on the bus, and once we like really sat down on the bus, like we pulled up there. We were like, oh, probably could have walked. We were on the bus for probably like 90 seconds. So we went to Volcano Bay on we got there really early. So you can get in early if you stay on the resort. So we got there before 9, and it was just people standing there like this, watching everybody else do stuff, which is kind of weird. I thought that they wouldn't even let them in, but they just let them in and they just make them stand off to the side, which is insane to me. I had planned to spend, we got 4-day tickets, so I planned to spend 2 days at Universal and Islands of Adventure and 2 days at the water park. But once we got to the water park, we realized we were never coming back. So the lockers were easy, right at the front, and we got in the wave pool, which was cool. It looks really cool. If you like don't look too hard, you can pretend you're somewhere else. But because we got there early, the stuff we wanted to do was not open. Like I wanted to get on the lazy river. I had to wait maybe like an hour and a half to get on the lazy river, and I rode the lazy river probably like 6 times just to make up for the fact that I couldn't get on it the first time. And I also wanted to do the aggressive lazy river, but once we figured out where that was, it was so far away from our stuff, we just didn't want to go back because it was also closed when we first got there. It seemed like the slides and stuff were open, but I wasn't gonna get on the slides, and my husband wasn't gonna get on the slides, so we just stayed in the wave pool, which was not as fun as our hotel pool because the wave pool is like a lot of work because you have to make sure you don't like bump into people because of the waves. Also, same thing with the hotel pool. The wave pool is not very deep, so unless you're like squatting down or like trying to swim, you're kind of just like out of the water. Also, Volcano Bay has like a fake beach, and that's where like all the seats are, and the sand is so hard to walk through because it's just like sand. It's not sand at a real beach that's getting like water on it and like being packed down. It's just sand. So it was pretty annoying constantly trying to like rinse it off your feet. We both wore shoes because the idea of walking around there without water shoes was so gross to me. But I wouldn't go back just because I looked up like the tickets are like $70 just to go like in the wave pool. It's not a very big park. It looks visually nice, but it's not a whole lot to do there, and the fact that so much of the stuff wasn't open when I first got there was annoying to me. I also, when I was doing research, it was saying that there was going to be like ridiculous lines for food. There was no lines for food. When I was there, I ate lunch around like 11. As far as the transportation, we mostly took the shuttle that left from our hotel once or twice. We mostly took the riverboat or canal boat that came up to the hotels, and it has a port in City Walk, so you can get off of City Walk, go to City Walk, or walk either way to either Universal or Islands of Adventure. So we did that most of the time. I just was not expecting it to be so busy. I also was not expecting there to be like a security, like a metal detector, like on the hotel property to get on the boat. I don't know what I was expecting. I was like, oh, I guess I'll do that somewhere else. But I wasn't expecting that. So, and then all the time, a lot of times, like the boat was really full, and it's kind of annoying to have to sit next to people. It just is. You just can't do what you want to do, and it's hard to talk about anything. There were a couple times where people try to cut in front of you, and I'll say something because I'm not gonna not say something. But it was really convenient. I just was annoyed that it was always so packed, like especially early in the mornings. It would be 100+ people in the line trying to get on the boat, and I think the boats take about 40 people at a time. So you could stand for quite some time, and there was only like one little bench, and there wasn't really a whole lot of shade at certain times of the day. Coming back, getting on at City Walk, there are no benches and no shade. They do have fans though, but it was fine. It was one of the reasons that I picked the hotel, because I knew there would be transportation. There's also a walking path. We did not choose to take the walking path just because we were already walking about 6 miles a day. We didn't want to walk anymore, and we were going to try to use the time on the boat to rest for a second before we had to walk to our room or walk around the park. But you can definitely walk. I saw tons of people walking. The signs, like if you don't know where you're going, the signs don't make a whole lot of sense because they just say like theme parks this way. So I guess if you follow them, you'll get there. But I didn't really walk because I was already doing so much walking. The weather while we were gone was typical Florida weather, really, really hot, and it's gonna rain every day. So if it was gonna rain, if there was any lightning, they were gonna close the pools and close the boats that we were getting on. So that was pretty annoying. We didn't end up stranded. We did end up caught in the rain maybe on our second day, but once you figure out what the rain, like it always starts the same way, like you can always tell when it's going to rain. But it didn't become too much of a hassle once we figured out that like, okay, it's gonna be really hot and it's gonna rain today. So now I know what to expect, so I can just have a good day because I can't change the weather. As far as like just overall about the parks, I was glad that we didn't have any issues getting on any of the rides, like physically fitting on any of the rides. I think we were both concerned about that. We didn't get on any of the rides that had like the overhead harnesses because we both have definitely struggled with those in the past. Just The only ride that I had a little bit of an issue on was the Spider-Man ride. I definitely had to man spread on that ride because there was absolutely no leg room for me. My husband has shorter legs than me, but a longer torso, so he fit fine, but I was struggling to fit on that one. But because it wasn't a lot of people, no one else was in our row, so he could slide all the way over, and then I could have like a whole lot of room for my legs. But that was the only ride that I had any issue on. Everything else was easy. Everything else was a bar, was easy to come down. We didn't have any issues fitting, and I was glad because I watched videos about that before, and I was concerned because so many people were like, yeah, I'm having issues, I can't close the bar, I can't do this, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what we're gonna do. But we didn't have any issues, probably because we didn't get on any roller coasters. There are some things that I wish I would have packed that I didn't pack. The first thing is scissors. I didn't realize how much I need scissors. You can't get anything open, you can't take tags off stuff. Please take scissors with you when you travel. I think it's important. I've never done it before because I guess I'm used to normally I don't fly somewhere, so I have like stuff in the car. It's like something sharp in the car or something that I can use to get stuff open. But this time I just felt like I was struggling. I couldn't open anything. I would, if I was to go again, bring some cleaning supplies just because they're not cleaning the hotel rooms, and I think it's kind of gross. So if I had just bought some wet wipes or something, I could have probably tried to wipe stuff down, like at least the vanity and the desk and stuff and the nightstand, because we had to like eat in those places over and over. I did bring paper towels, like as you saw in my packing video, but I could only put the paper towels down. I couldn't like really clean up with anything because there was nothing to clean up with. So I didn't think to bring that because I normally don't stay in hotels for a full week, but I did this time, and I wish I would have been able to clean up after myself since they weren't cleaning up. Once we had been there a couple of days and we realized that the food, snack, water situation wasn't getting any better, we started noticing what other people were bringing in. People were, I guess, either driving down or getting like a rental car and going to like Walmart or something, and I saw a lot of people bring up cases of water and Gatorade and snacks up to their room. I would definitely do that the next time I go on a really long trip. Normally I drive everywhere, like I said, so I definitely go to Walmart before I leave and buy stuff, but I did not do that this time because I was like, oh, I would be fine. I was not fine. I wish I had had stuff because I spent a lot of money, some basic stuff like that I could have got in bulk at Sam's or Walmart or something. Same thing with that. My husband is super into energy drinks, and the energy drinks were like $6 or something ridiculous, and they were like the little small cans, and he knows that he has a problem. He's working on it, so he says, but we should have also brought like cases of energy drinks instead of just buying them daily. It was really expensive. We also should have brought nail clippers and nail polish removers. We both cut our nails and stuff before we left, but it just seemed like they grew immediately and we were like a little bit uncomfortable at times, and because there's nothing we could do, we just had to suffer. And same thing with the nail polish. Like I had nail polish on some of my toes, and it did not make it. Getting out the pool, wearing shoes, like my socks were sticking to my nail polish, ripping it off. If we had been able to just like take off the nail polish, it would have been so much better. Okay, I'm finally at the end of this video. There was so much to say, so I'm just gonna show you a couple of the things that we bought while we were there. I bought this Hufflepuff shirt. It's very expensive, but it's very cute, very comfortable. I also got another Hogwarts alumni shirt that is also very cute and comfortable. The last thing I got is this keychain, also from Harry Potter, and it also has my name on it. And I've never been able to find anything that has my name on it. My husband also found one with his name on it. He also never finds anything with his name on it. They had so many names. I like that so much, but I didn't buy anything else that wasn't Harry Potter because everything else was either just Universal themed or off of like the rides and stuff, and I wasn't like a super fan of any of that stuff like I am Harry Potter. Me and Harry Potter go way back to like 2001. My husband got this souvenir cup. He got a DeLorean model, which also lights up. Very cool. He's very into Back to the Future. They don't have like the Back to the Future ride anymore, but they did have like a car and then the train from the movie that's a Western. I really like that movie more than I like the first one, but I know I'm alone in that. He also got a Back to the Future hat and this hat from Jurassic Park. And I think he got some other shirts and stuff, and that was all the stuff we bought. Honestly, we really spent most of our money on food and trying to not be dehydrated and pass out in the Florida sun. Overall, I really did have a good time. Like, everything was what I expected it to be. Everything was super easy and simple once you kind of figure it out the first time. I like my hotel, I like the parks for the most part. I would go back, but I just wouldn't go back anytime soon because otherwise it'll just all be the same. So maybe 5 years from now or something, it'll be like different and I can go back. I was expecting to spend a lot of money and I did do that. So that was, you know, that's what happened. I just try to let it go. If I did go back, I'd probably stay at a different hotel just to try it out. When I was leaving and like we rode, like we got like shuttle service to and from the airport, they stopped at other hotels that I know were like cheaper, and I was like, oh, this looks fine, why not stay here? It must have been like the reviews or something, or maybe they weren't available on my dates, but it seemed like all the hotels on the property seemed all nice. They're just different levels of nice. So I would definitely go stay at another hotel. That seems fine. The only downside to this trip was that we did so much walking and so much time in the sun that I was exhausted every day. And if you're not prepared to be walking and be hot and be sweaty and be gross, it's probably not a trip for you. Overall, I had a good trip. I was ready to leave though when it was time to go, and these are just my opinions. So thank you for watching, and I will be back for another video that probably has nothing to do with this. Bye.